What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DoubleXP coming to you live and direct, and welcome to the newest Call of Duty related podcast show, Controversial. And I'm your host once again, DoubleXP. Thank you for everybody else who's tuning in and joining, and going to allow me to discuss some great controversial topics of Call of Duty, hence the name, CODtroversial. So this is a new type of show where we're going to discuss Call of Duty and related things about the developers and the Call of Duty League that focuses on a different type of angle. And this angle is to present an argumentative, debatable side where you, don't forget to leave in the comments, can tell and have a discussion with me. So with that being said, today's topic, with everything going on, ROSTERMANIA is hot. So I want to touch up on ROSTERMANIA, but I want to put a spin on it. And the spin will be, what if Call of Duty had a draft? You're like, whoa, hold on. CDL, Call of Duty League, with a draft? No, I don't think that can work. But wait, it works for college. It works for the NFL and NBA, for the college for the college players to go to the pro level. Why wouldn't it be able to work in the Call of Duty League? I mean, let's think about this. Daniel and Joanna Faries, so Daniel Say and Joanna Faries, both top level execs for Call of Duty and the CDL, have experience in NBA and NFL. So they're familiar with a draft system and all this other stuff. So, budget requiring, I think the CDL should have a draft, my opinion. But we'll get more into that. But it has been proven to be successful. It allows those college players to kind of live a stress-free environment. The only anxiety they'll get is, will I make the cut to get picked? That's it. But they know if they work hard and play hard in college, if they're, individual sport, that there is a ladder to go up to pro. Do the challengers know that? Like, challengers know the path to pro gets me to the CDL, but how? It's not really regulated or guaranteed or mandated. And you could see all these great challengers players, they're just dropping off the radar to retire because, I don't know, maybe they've gotten old enough and realized that, hey, it's not that I don't love Call of Duty, it's just it ain't getting me anywhere and I have real priorities. That being said, so let's keep that in the mind. And let's actually start talking about what if CDL had a draft. All right, so what I usually like to do is draw up a nice presentation. And I draw these presentations, one, because it's easier for me to disseminate the information and allows me to put something on the screen for you as my viewer to turn around and see what I'm talking about and kind of follow along with me. So think of me as giving you a business meeting with some key highlights and some points. All right, with that being said, let's get into it. So like I said, we're going to talk about the Call of Duty League draft. Now, granted, this is fake, and it would take about a year to implement. So that's why I said 2025. All right, so bear with me. And like with everything here, it's pretty much laid out, except for your guys' opinion. So please, don't forget, I want to hear your opinion and drop them down below in the comments. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so the purpose of the Call of Duty League draft, obviously, as you see on the screen, it's enhance the quality of competition, make sure the challengers and the challengers' talent also have a clear shot to being a Call of Duty pro. Now, this is kind of like heavy on the eyes. So the idea is to establish an immersive Call of Duty League draft event. Remember, it's an event. Think of like NFL and NBA. They have events. So this would be live, in person. That's where I'm thinking in the cabeza here. So it's also designed to, emulate and model other franchise team models. Like I said, the NFL and the NBA. And then it follows the journey. So now if you have a CDL draft, right, you pay more closer attention to the challenger scene because you want to see which players are really going to make that draft. I mean, why do most people watch college and NFL? because they pay attention to what's going in on the the draft, who's they're following people. I mean, of course, there might be friends and families, but they're following players that go into the NFL. So they watch their whole career and they're like, oh my God, I hope my team gets this guy. He's like the third pick of the first round. Kind of the same concept. More people, this has the opportunity to bring more people into the challenger scene. I don't watch challengers that much. I don't. I don't like the way it's produced. I don't like the way it's handled. And I don't think it gives enough importance to the challenger players at all. I don't think so. Period. Hands down. It doesn't. So to me, since it's a doo-doo event and the way it's organized and actually the way it's managed, it doesn't give that clear, concise from grind your life away and you have an opportunity to make the team. It's like grind your life away and you might have a chance to get to the team or a team or just turn around and be known somehow. So here's the vision for y'all. It literally allows teams to hire like a talent scout and watch these players in challengers. So they can in turn scope the best prospects and, probably pick them up during the draft. I mean, it's not like they're going to have a Call of Duty combine, but you see where I'm getting at. So really the objectives here for a Call of Duty draft would be talent acquisition. That's what we're looking for, right? Because with ROSTERMANIA here, what's crazy about ROSTERMANIA, right? Everybody throws their rumors, this, that, this, squad wipe, all these teams. I mean, look what's going on right now, right? And we still don't know that even though the announcements go out, that they're still going to pick people. Like, oh, Asim has been let go. Well, maybe Asim is going back to the team. That's just part of the game. Release everybody, have everybody jumping down. It creates lots of fan engagement on Twitter and Reddit and all the content that's going out. Like Tactical Rabs content going up, made 100K. God bless you, guy. Good luck over there making 100K on YouTube. You got Zuma in the flank and Ben and all these streams and all this content coming out. So with all this content coming out, it's good for the CDL, right? So maybe that's why they do it. I don't agree with it, but hey, that's just me. So you're looking at talent acquisition, right? Get the good people in and a competitive balance. So here's a big thing. We're hearing already that they're forming super teams and super this and super that. They kind of are. I mean, if you have the money and you don't want to go down to the challengers pool or anything like that, because maybe those teams haven't even scouted challengers. They're just like, who are you going to go to? You're going to tweet Parasite and say, Haggy, can you tell me a good challengers player? Are you going to go to Doug and be like, Doug, I'm picking up 3 people from your team? I mean, those are like your only 2 options if you want to know anything out of challenges. As on the player side, that's fair and unbiased is by asking those 2 people. So it creates it creates a competitive balance. It promotes fairness, by selecting draftees. And what's more important is in a structured manner. Period. Structure manner. And to its best. While it says ensures no teams can overstack talent, yes, you still can. But in a sense, it tries to mitigate that. Player development. Quite simple as it is. As a challenge, as an amateur going into challengers, you have a clear goal, a clear shot to what the Call of Duty League is and how to get there. Period. When you wake up in the morning and you don't listen to your mother because you're 12 years old and you cut school and you come back home when she's not looking and you play video games for 16 hours a day, as that amateur, you're going to make it into challengers. And then from challengers, you're going to grind at least 2 years away because you got to be at least 18 to be eligible for the CDL. So you're going to grind those years away and boom, you have a shot from the CDL, from the challengers, my apologies, to get into the CDL. It's even better fan engagement. So how we had all this storylines and all this about Subliners, about Ultra, about all these other teams in on Champ Sunday and everything, and OPTIC Texas, of course. There was amazing storylines. But now we get crazier storylines because it's not just is OPTIC going to pick up Pred? Is New York going to extend Kismet's contract? Is Scrappy trying to get out of jail and go somewhere else? It's something different now. It's all these teams did this, and there's still a hole either on the bench or whatever, and they're waiting for the draft. So now the content becomes, who are the top draft picks? Who do we think's picking up? No more rumors, except for those. And then based on that, it'll be a lot of statistical analysis probably. So let's keep it a buck. That's probably what it's going to be. A lot of statistical analysis, figuring out who the best challengers player is for XYZ team. Right? That's probably what's going to happen. So, I mean, that part of the fan engagement will be phenomenal. And the content and everything else, great. Now it says sponsorship opportunities. So it's a professional level event, right? This is another way for CDL to have a revenue stream by selling that right or that event to the highest bidder who wants to put their name on it. You know, Call of Duty League Draft 2025 presented by Mitsubishi. Call of Duty League 2025 Draft presented by Pixio, the best in gaming monitors. I mean, something. You see what I'm getting at? Or Pixio presents the Call of Duty Draft, Call of Duty League Draft 2025. So they pay to put their name on it. That's money that goes to the CDL, not just for the event, but also for regular pocketbooks. You get the deal. And it also makes the league evolve. So with more events that are formal in structure like this, and there's plenty more events that I'm thinking about, and we can talk about that on other episodes. But league evolution. So by creating these new events, you help increase the longevity of the league by properly taking things that work in other franchises and not just cramming them in there. We're just not gonna like try and put like the square in the circle peg, like the square peg in the circle hole. We're not doing that. We're gonna mold it. I'm gonna shape it or reshape it, and then we're gonna slide it in. We're gonna see what fits. Okay, guys? That is how you take what works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and make it tailor-made to something else that follows the same suit. I mean, that's just what it is. Just what it is. So, yeah. I think those are all great things. And if you have any other objectives, feel free to comment down below. I want to know if there's something else that I missed over here, or if there's something you want to comment on about these objectives and leave your free-willed comment in there, please, by all means, do so. So here's the crazy concept, right? Now, remember, this is just me. This is just me creating a concept. So Lord have mercy, shoot me. So this is kind of like an emulation of the draft, of the NFL draft. Most of us know what the NFL draft is. If not, look it up. Pretty much the winner of the Super Bowl is the person that gets the last pick of prospects. The loser of the whole season, so for Super Bowl, the 32nd or the first worst team, so the 32nd placed or the shittiest team gets the first pick. And the Super Bowl winner, which is the best team, gets the last pick. So same concept here. As of right now, we only have 12 teams, which I would love to change that. If I had millions of dollars, I would literally buy 4 teams and just stock them, staff them, and put them out there so everybody can have 16. I would actually look even to the challenger scene and buy those teams out because they're already established. They already have a name, and you buy them, you turn them into an org, whatever it is, done deal. I mean, that's what I do. But that is for another topic, let me tell you. So, okay, so we tweak for the current number of league teams, right? We're going to do that, and we're going to make it 12 because that's what we got. So the shittiest team, which we all know who that was, gets the 12 seed. The 12 seed gets the first pick. All right. So they get the first pick, and the champs victor, which right here, from New York, to the champ victor right there, they're going to get the last pick because they won champs. So that's just how it goes, right? And it says right there, picks determined by regular and postseason success. And the draft picks can be traded for UFAs, unrestricted free agents, or RFAs, restricted free agents, or rostered players. So just like they do in like the NBA, where you can take your draft pick and consider it a player or an asset or a token or a chip or whatever. I know it sounds kind of bad, right? You can trade your draft pick for later draft picks for real people, whatever the deal is. Just kind of like what the NBA does. So there is a little bit of a mix in there as well. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then so you give a time limit. They have 10 minutes to pick, trade, or draft or whatever. What are the consequences if they don't hit the 10-minute mark? They wait and they go in a queue. And then they go probably ended up getting the last pick. See where I'm getting at? So you go to the back of the bus. All right. And so this is a live event. Like I was saying earlier, like way earlier, it's a live event. It's in person. Well, let's say Vegas. It's there in Vegas. There's tables, there's chairs, there's couches. You got a green room in the back. You got the players hoping. You got some of the families hoping. Maybe at least some of like the top 10 players, like their families. Because imagine if you had all these players' families there, or some of them maybe from the UK or whatever. And you have jerseys ready and hats ready or something, controller ready. Imagine a controller. And so it's like in the NFL, you get a hat, you take a picture with the jersey, you walk off, right? But imagine you got a hat or you got a jersey and a controller. Oh, see, oof. We could start spinning the wheels there. Tell me some crazy ideas down in the comments below what you're thinking about that. But it being a live event, you make ticket sale revenue, all this other stuff. It gives a formal aspect. It gives an important aspect which is needed, right? It's also streamed because everything we do is streamed. It's not like it's going to be on the NFL network or the Call of Duty network or anything like that. Ooh, imagine a Call of Duty network. Ooh, sick. Anyway, maybe we'll talk about something like that as well. I'm just saying. MLG had it going on. So maybe a Call of Duty network is and thing. But we're going to stream it on Twitch, YouTube, whatever their contractual deal is. Whatever. Hell, who knows? They'll go to Kick. What? I mean, wherever they're going to do it, it'll be watched. So that's part of the concept. Now, here's some crazy stuff. So we talked about being at least 18 and players coming in, right? So you got to be at least 18, right? Because some of those things are not going to change in the CDL. So in order to be a professional, to gain money for businesses, it's like a regular job. You got to be legal, right? So let's be legal. Legal age, United States, because that's where it's ran out of here. 18. Now in NFL and NBA, they have a draft size pool. So they already do whatever they're going to do. And here's the top 300 players to pick from, the top 50, the top 100, whatever. Same concept for Call of Duty. So Call of Duty will have a draft size of about 48 players. And later on, you're going to find out why I say 48 players. It includes all the CDL regions. So first, you're going to have all these CDL regions, right? Big picture. And then we're going to shrink it down. You'll see. And so it'll consist of 24 ARs and 24 SMGs. That is the 48 players, right? Top 12 from each weapon category and region. So that's how we get it. So we get the top 12 AR players, the top 12 SMG players, those 24, and NA, and EU, in LATAM, in PACAM, whatever it is, whatever regions challenges. See, I don't follow challenges that much. So whatever, if there's 4 regions and challengers, there's going to be 24 players per region eligible, right? Seems like a lot. Hell, maybe they might do top 6. I don't know, which would kind of shrink per region. And then that's what you get as part of the top 48. Or maybe there's only top 36. Who knows? I'm just doing it like that. So the top overall prospect in the draft class is highlighted, right? So in other words, later on, how we're going to discuss who's the top, who's the best, who's whatever, they're highlighted. The best overall draft pick, just like the NFL does, the number 1 overall draft pick, because everybody and their grandmother wants him, whether he's a running back, a wide receiver, a fucking quarterback, a water boy, because, mama said Call of Duty's awesome. Anyway, that's That's what I'm thinking of. So the overall number one draft pick, the top of the top of the top of the class of 2025, because they call draft classes and all that like a graduation or like a class. So, and then there's the top player per weapon category. So of course the top guy will be the top of overall, and he might be the top AR or he might be the top SMG. So those are things to think about, and you know, they're highlighted. So they give them the importance, the prominence of they made number one in the draft. You know, teams should be looking to like literally hump the legs and write contracts for them. They must have played in 90% of the challengers events. That includes online and offline. So this is where it really weeds people out. And comment below because you might think I'm unfair about it. But if you want to be a pro in almost anything you do, any team, any whatever, you have to at least be there 90% of the time. So how would an NBA player be if he was only there 50% of the games and got into the draft? Everybody else that put in 100% of the games or 99% of the games, because, you know, I say 90% because sometimes people get sick. So I don't think 90% is bad, but, you know, comment below if you think I'm pretty screwed up by saying that. 90% of challenges are online, offline events, right? So let's say the offline events are LAN, and there's 5 LANs, 6 LANs. You got to at least attend 4 or 5 of those, along with everything else. So everything else gets, you know, combined. Let's say there's 100 events. Let's just say for easy math, there's 100 events. Those 100 events, you have to attend 90 of them. Done. Let's just do the fucking math that way. And then you're selected by your personal stats, your KD, your hill. Yes, not just your KD. We're looking at KD, hill time, first bloods, you know, things that deal with all 3 major game modes, SND, hardpoint, and control. You know, we just don't want to know you're a slayer. Teams want to know you're a team player. Teams want to know, will you take the hill time? Teams want to know, are you given first bloods to create those 4v3 opportunities in SND? Things like that. And then there's a special point rubric. Now, I have it in my head when I type this out and I put it there. It's developed one for, so the rubric total has categories for 8, you know, hardpoint, SND, and control. And at the end, everybody gets a point specific to whatever matrix there is. Like, you know, if you're supposed to get 3 minutes in the hill and you're in the hill 2 minutes and 55 seconds, yeah, you're probably like a 99 and shit. Just saying. That's probably what you are. And then you get bonus points for being the challenger, like a challenger majors winning player. So you're a roster of 4. If you happen after the rubric to be also a challengers winner, like for one of their majors, you get 5 additional points. Well, the whole team gets 5 additional points, but you, I mean, if your other teammates never make the draft or whatever, and you're in the draft, you got the 5 points. You get the deal, right? Oop. And then you get 10 points if you're the challengers champs. Well, eyes are already on you, right? But you get the 10 points. And here's why this is also important, right? Look at everybody else when they say, oh my God, so-and-so just won you know, okay, look at Ghosty and look at everybody else. They won challengers, champs. You got to bring him up. We got to pick him up. We got to snatch our hand in the pool of fish and do what we got to do. Why? Why do it like that? Wait till the draft. Pick him up then. Just because a player is a challenger champ, and no disrespect to Ghosty because he is very good. I mean, he's better than me. Doesn't make them a pro caliber player. Period. What separates Ghosty from a lot of people is his communications and map knowledge, like, you know, and he plays his role, and the role he plays is selfless. And so that is his marketing point. Yeah, they released him from OPTIC. Who knows if they're going to pick him back up or not. They released him from OPTIC. Yeah, his KD isn't that great. His KD was better in Challengers. Well, the game changes in Challengers to CDL. And so Ghosty plays a role. He plays it perfectly. But imagine if that was the role he was playing in Challengers and everybody overlooks him because of his KD only and not his other stuff. So just because you win champs doesn't make you a pro caliber player. It just means maybe that day you were good. All you gelled correctly, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily make you a pro level player. Let's just keep that in mind. So you get the bonus points for winning challengers champs. And that will hopefully set the stage where clear victors, like the clear top 48 players, are eligible. All right. Now I say 48 again, 24 ARs, 24 SMGs. Why so much? 2 times the ARs, 2 times the SMGs that are on a team. You know what I'm saying? So you have 4 players, 2 SMGs, 2 ARs, give or take. So you give them the option, you're giving everybody the option of either or, and giving them enough people in the pool to decide from. Not like, oh my God, there's only like 6 ARs and 18 SMGs. No. And if the team numbers go up, like if there become 16 teams, then we're adding 4 more to that. So, you know, it might be 56 players, 64 players. I hope you see where I'm getting at with that. So one thing we didn't talk about is unrestricted free agent consideration. So when you squad wipe or do whatever that's going on ROSTERMANIA, you still got to think of the UFAs when it comes to draft, right? And so you're going to force the teams to deal with their unrestricted free agents as fast as possible, because that is critical to having the draft. Of course, teams can sign UFAs to starting lineup. They can do whatever they want with their unrestricted free agents or any other unrestricted free agents, but it's got to be done like this. They cannot be signed to a bench position, and it must be done before the draft. And if you don't sign people before the draft, there's paperwork that has to be submitted. The bench seats must be open for draftees. Okay? Here's how I say this. Let's say you had somebody on the bench for 2 years in Toronto Ultra. They've been on the bench 2 years, haven't played a game. So for 2 years, this professional player, this Call of Duty Challengers player, goes to the professional level, sits on the fucking bench all day, never gets a shot. So that means the team picked him up as a reserve just in case, but they don't feel he's good enough to be pro. You see where I'm getting at? They're taking a position away from somebody else. So you got to clear the bench. If you're not going to use them or not do with anything, you got to clear the bench. And there's some things I'll talk about that in other episodes about bench players and everything else, what they should do with them. What they should. Doesn't mean they'll listen, obviously. But it's something we can talk about. But with that being said, the bench seats must be open for draftees. Period. End of discussion. They got to be open. You got to do what you got to do. And the teams choosing not to sign UFAs prior to draft may do so after draft if applicable, meaning if they have room. So let's say they don't sign any UFAs and they have X amount of draft picks, and they get their draft picks first because those are important, and then whatever unrestricted free agents are available after, because there'll still be some, they could pull from. That is the concept. But the concept, what's more important is the bench seats are open for at least 12 of those draftees to make it. So we had a pool of 48. We're taking a team of 12. 25% of those players will make it. That's the intent. And that will have more like a better outlook of being a challengers player. I could be that top 25%. I could be that top 48 player. And then I could try and be one of the top 12, the top 25 percentile to get on a team. I have a shot. I don't know. Crazy to think of. Crazy to think of. Let me know what you guys think. So with all that said, I really want to know your opinions. Tell me guys, in the comments below, where could this be improved? How do you think this helps ROSTERMANIA? I think this helps ROSTERMANIA a lot. I want you to look at it on the player side, right? We're not just going to look at the business side, because the business side is the team's picking the player, or the team's doing this, the team's doing that. I want you to look from the player's perspective. I'm a challengers player. I'm a pro player. I get released. I'm a challengers player. I'm looking for my way up. You know how stressful that is? Because let's take Donnie Temp. So Donnie Temp, He goes out there and handles business, right? Unrestricted free agent. Maybe he wants to move on to another team. I don't know. But maybe he does. And the negotiations and all this other stuff. And what if they fall through? Will he be on a team? Will he get a chance to make it? It's really stressful. What about Wardy from the Subliners? So he's released. Is he going to get a chance to make it on a pro team? Are they going to re-sign Wardy to the bench again? Is that fair to him? I mean, think of those things. It's very stressful as a player to navigate. I got released. Oh, all right, fuck it. How about Dan Ghosty? How about Kleenex? How about Insight? Right? How about those players? How about Clayster? How about those players? It is super stressful to navigate in that. Right? That alone is hard being an unrestricted free agent. But once the dust settles and there's open seats, 12 bench seats are open. 12 are open to allow fresh blood to come in, fresh talent, fresh faces, people who have grinded and now want to say, I have a chance, a clear path to make it pro. I've checked box A, I've checked box B, I shit on everybody, I'm coming up. And even if they didn't win champs, because, NCAA, not everybody wins a bowl or a basketball ring or a trophy, even though they may have not won champs, they still may be the best player. Still. And they still have a chance for all their hard work and effort, to go pro. So out of those 48 people, 12 will make it, 25% will make it. That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal. Maybe 6 ARs will make it. Maybe 6 SMGs will make it. Hell, maybe every team needs an AR. Well, there's 12 of them available. There's 24 ARs available. See where I'm getting at? And you don't get picked, you go back to the draft. You go back to challenges. Do it all over again. New season, new points. Last season's points don't count. Class of 2026. That's what matters. Do your thing. Work harder, stronger, faster. Prep yourself. Those are some thoughts there. Because I know as we look at ROSTERMANIA, we as fans even create the anxiety by literally going in the cauldron and stewing the pot and figuring out where our favorite people are trying to go. Crazy. So I am undoubtedly a New York Subliners fan. I already knew the Wu-Tang Clan was going to stay together because they ain't nothing to fuck with. I already knew they were staying together. But what's funny is everybody was talking about Kismet's contract and this, and this. And all of these roster little blurbs from Jacob Hale and everything, and Ben is, calculating, and Rab is calculating, and all these high-end people are calculating. And for days, I was like, where the F is Priesta? Is Priesta contract end? Did he sign a new one? I haven't heard anything. It's all about Kismet. And then New York is going to release everybody. 0 names released but Wardy. Right? And shout out to Wardy. I know he was trying to do his thing. I don't think he was put in a good position. But I'm glad New York did something that no other team was willing to risk. And that's put in a challenges player, even if it's for 30 minutes. I mean, what else can you do? So much props for that. I know that was CoDtroversial on its own. But shout out to New York for doing something like that. Win, lose, or draw. They wanted to give Wardy a fair shake. They're paying him all this money to sit on the bench. You might as well stick a damn remote in his hand. Put a damn controller in his hand. Let him do his thing. So, oh well. But think about that. Think about all the stress that we put these players in. And comment below if you guys actually agree with me on that. Let me know in the comments below if you agree that ROSTERMANIA is more stressful for the players than they are for the team. because to me, how I think these organizational team owners and managers and front end office or whatever the hell they're organized like, the players seem like chess pieces, and some chess pieces are more expendable than others. They serve a purpose, they serve a role. You use them for that role. If they die out, whatever. In the vision of esports, which I don't agree, it looks like younger owners or younger managers with high-end investors, like the investors don't know, so, or know that much. I mean, they might have played Atari 2600, but they didn't play competitive Pong. You know, they may play Candy Crush on their phone, but they weren't a professional PUBG Mobile player on mobile. They weren't. They're like a professional LinkedIn player, scrolling up and down on who to hire or meet up with their friends. So these investors, they don't know everything. And so they're briefed, give me X amount of dollars, we're going to make this team and do whatever, and we're going to do XYZ, and here's your ROI. And the ROI hasn't made it there yet. CDL Draft has the ability to bring in everything, if you come to think about it. It has the ability to bring everything somehow together. This in another event, and I'll get to the other event in another later podcast episode. But you could comment below and think what other kind of event that would benefit, that Call of Duty League would benefit from. I want to hear from you. Let's see if we're eye to eye on this, because I have a feeling you may, if y'all know who I am, then y'all know where I'm going with that one. But the CDL Draft has a way to bring everything together. It ties in the path to pro, which they have issues with, you know, and it allows team owners and orgs to already be watching. So if changes need to be made, they're waiting for that day. It allows for very interesting content to see how teams strategically use draft picks for future trades or for immediate trades or whatever the deal is. I'm just saying. Crazy like that. But anyway, comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Let me know. And if you actually like this episode and definitely want to see more of this episode, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and like. And let everybody know. Don't forget to turn that notification bell on as well. I know I haven't harassed you about that all day. I was more important about your comments because I want to generate this feedback on further episodes. And I want to make sure I'm providing content for the viewer. And I'm not just sitting in front of a screen, blabbing my face off about some stuff you really don't care about. So once again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification, smash all that goodness. And with that being said, I am your host, DoubleXP, host of CoDtroversial, and I'm looking forward to see you next week, Wednesday.